Okay. You good, Liz? Okay. All right, this is live on the internet, so don't say anything bad. So first, I wanted to welcome you to our storefront and our home. I know it might seem unusual to have a memorial service in an old German bar, unless you're Irish, I guess. But I, especially in the last couple of years, have been to far too many funerals where the pastor or the officiant really didn't know the person very well, and when you go to those, it's so sad. I mean, it's even sadder than almost as sad as the funeral. And all of us in the Schwarz family, we all grew up in the Presbyterian Church, and so we love the Jesus. But when it came time, to do this, Mom hadn't attached herself yet to a church here in Covington, and so we've decided, because we're all kind of do-it-yourselfers, to take it upon ourselves and give Mom the service that we thought she deserved. I know it won't be as polished as a professional service, but it will be heartfelt. So appreciate your patience with us. And we'll start off with Ashley.
First of all, I want to thank all of you from near and far that have joined us today. I can feel that this room is full of love. So those of you that knew my mom well knew of her love of Facebook. The grandkids would be, why did she post that picture of me? I would be like, that was my moment to share. But today, when I was thinking about what I could say today, I went back and looked at things that my mom had posted. And there was something that was a wish. It was a wish for her children. And I'd like to share it with you. When my children remember their childhood, I want only for them to remember that their mother gave it her all. She worried too much. She failed at times, and she did not always get it right. But she tried her hardest to teach them kindness, love, compassion, and integrity, even if she had to learn it from her own mistakes. She loved them enough to keep going, even when life knocked her down. I want them to remember me, as the woman who always got back up. My mom always got back up. She brushed herself off and kept going. She wasn't afraid of failure and reinvented herself countless times. She taught us, your opinion matters. Use your voice. Stand up for your beliefs, but respect others that may not agree with you. If we were all the same, life would be boring. Mom loved to tell us, and my kids hear the same quite a bit. She celebrated diversity. She taught us love doesn't see gender, the color of your skin, or how much money you make. Mom was always helping others. I remember her with pregnant teenagers at the Fort Smith Health Center, teaching them Lamaze, getting them car seats, getting them clothes, and getting them started when they had such a rough road ahead of them. Feeding the homeless and elderly in Old Lyme, Santa Fe, and now here in Covington. She loved her spot at Flavors in Maumelle, not only cooking at the restaurant and catering, but teaching special needs kids life skills that they could use to go on and have a job. She mentored friends who needed a hand up in their life. She made a difference. She taught us Little things do matter. Food, no surprise there, was her love language. Our family not only loves to eat, but we love to talk about food. Our favorite meals, restaurants, recipes we want to try, but especially, what are we eating next? Bless our spouses and kids. They're destined to be foodies too. She taught us to cook, but also taught so many others. She especially loved to spend time in the kitchen with her grandkids. What's the secret ingredient, Mimi? It's love. That's why her food not only tasted good, it made you feel. It fed your spirit. So many calls and emails started with, "How do I make this?" And she would happily share the recipe, unless it was for orange rolls. That is our family secret. I'm so happy that she had a chance to reinvent herself another time here in Covington. Who do you know that makes this many friends during a pandemic? I'm thankful for her food pod and the neighborhood and our family that opened their hearts and homes for her to find a landing space. Please join me as we honor this beautiful spirit. Earth below, sky above. May she find peace within. Amen. We love you, Mom.
Rule number one in our family is never follow Ashley. So, thanks, Ashley. That really makes it very difficult. I'd also like to thank everyone who came today and who is watching from afar. Hello, Internet. Our mother touched so many lives on both coasts, all the way in between in the middle. And because of that, we struggled with a little bit about where to have this service. But we settled on here, Covington, Kentucky, which is where Mom lived, about 7 houses right up the street, and where she lived. And this place is also important for another reason. And in case you're wondering, this building, where you are, is where I work and my family, we live. We live upstairs. And I can guarantee you that without my mom, we wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't have this building. I wouldn't have this business. I wouldn't have this life at all. And so, if you will, for a moment, I'd like you, if you can, to think for a second about, if you can, your earliest memory in life. Chances are that it probably involves your mother. Mine does. We're at the Missouri Botanical Garden in St. Louis. It's during the winter. It's probably about 1972. And we're standing at the reflecting pool outside the Climatron. The Climatron is this incredible glass and steel dome in the middle of the botanical garden. And it looks like something out of a science fiction novel, which is what the 70s looked like to me. It wasn't the drugs, it was just the 70s. And there's this giant reflecting pool in front of the Climatron, and I'm there, and I'm of course throwing rocks at the fish or the frogs or something because I'm a dumb boy and that's my job. And my mom's there, I remember, and she's probably dressed like Jackie Kennedy at the time. And she takes me gently by the arm and leads me to the Climatron. Doors open up and there's this just enormous whoosh of air. And we walk from the St. Louis winter, which at the time were really brutal, not so much anymore, into this rainforest climate inside the Climatron. And it goes to like 84 degrees all of a sudden. We're in our coats and just boom. And I stand up there, and the last thing I remember is I'm looking up at the climatron, the inside of this dome, and there's a cloud like floating inside the house, like inside the thing. And I'm just like, I can't speak. There's just a cloud inside the dome. And that's it. And I think about that cloud all the time. And just like I think about my mom all the time. Most of you, because you're here, you probably know this, but we didn't have a normal 20th century mom. When we left St. Louis, we went to Arkansas. And it's a small town, deeply traditional and conservative area. And my parents, sort of dream, their hippie era dream was we were going to become homesteaders. Yeah, I know. It's so funny now. It wasn't funny then. We were going to build houses off the grid out in Hackett, Arkansas. We were going to raise goats and strawberries. We had solar showers, composting toilets. All the smells. And the first time I knew my mom was different was on a Sunday morning, and we were headed to church, and Mom stopped at our local grocery store, which was Harps, right at the bottom of the hill. And we hadn't been there very long. Mom goes in, and it's time to buy some feminine hygiene products.
Mom was like, "You're telling me to have tampons?"
Oh, she's laughing, because she knows what happens next. And so, like, Mom gets them, and we go up to the counter, and they won't sell her the tampons. And Mom's like, "What do you mean you won't sell me them?" And they're like, "Well, it's Sunday. And in Arkansas, you can't buy anything on Sunday that isn't food. If you can't eat it, you can't buy it." And so my mom's like, "Take me to your manager." And so she goes to the manager, and we're kind of off, like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get arrested for tampons? Whatever. And she's talking to the manager back and forth, and I don't know what she said, but she didn't yell. Mom wasn't much for yelling. And just kept talking. And I don't know what she said, but I do remember walking out of Harps with a big box of tampons on a Sunday. After that, the next thing, a big thing with Mom I remember is, like, we had a Chevy Suburban. And in the back of the Chevy Suburban, all of a sudden one day, it was like giant posters of naked women show up in the back of the Suburban. And I'm like, what is this? And some of them are cut in half, not in a gross way, but just like a Grey's Anatomy sort of thing. And sometime, I don't know exactly when, my mom and Eileen Cradle, one of her best friends, had become prepared childbirthing, Lamaze instructors, prepared childbirth. And they were teaching pregnant women how to have babies and still be awake. Because at the time, if you had a baby, it would sort of knock you out. The husband sat outside, and then you waited for the news. And so my mom was teaching methods of what some people call natural childbirth, where you were awake. And they were some of the first, if not the first, her and Eileen, in Arkansas. And Mom always bragged that I was the first baby born in St. Louis using Lamaze. I mean, in the modern era. I'm sure in the colonial era they used something else. But I mean, I don't know if it's true if I was the first, but it always looked really good on my resume. So these posters, they taught me and my friends a lot. I have 2 kids. But they were part of the Mom's instructional materials, and she would teach down at St. Edward's, and it would show, this is the baby, it's not in your stomach, it's in your uterus, and here's where it comes out. That was all part of the education for the women and me and my friends. I didn't sell tickets, but Mom's class were always really well attended, which was this huge surprise because Fort Smith was very conservative, still very conservative area. And it was so successful that none of us wanted to go to Central Mall with Mom or shopping, because if you saw a lady with a baby stroller, it was over. It was like, the woman's like, I want to show you my baby. Thank you for the classes. And it would take you 3 hours to get from Sears to JCPenney. I mean, it was just a nightmare. So in addition to teaching Lamaze at that time, Mom also started, I don't know when it started. She started writing a book. And she wrote a book called Don't Change the Baby on the Ironing Board. Yes, which was a book for babysitters. And it was all these checklists that she had made. And you could tear them off and, tell the babysitter what to do and what not to do. Mom used to leave these epic, like, novels whenever she and Dad would go to Cancun or, wherever. And so mom was trying to make a book out of this. And this was like totally incredible to me. I mean, like who just gets up and writes a book? Mom wasn't a writer. She wouldn't have a writing trade. She was a teacher by trade, but she worked on it for years. And at the same time, she was raising all four of us. She was teaching Lamaze. She was volunteering at First Pres. She was also helping Dad out at the snake farm we owned out in Hackett. And we were building 2 houses with no electricity. The second one we had a little electricity, but Mom was out there, building stud walls with Dad, sheathing them, making decks, and she was just always a complete bundle of energy. And all that kind of ended at first for me in 1986. I left for college, but when I came home one summer, Mom had just like started a restaurant. Oh, you haven't heard? Mom started a restaurant. I'm like, oh, okay, and which was it was right by our high school in a shopping center. And it was really ambitious. It was this where they served scratch-made breakfast and lunch and orange rolls, of course. And then you could buy pre-prepared dinners in the fridge, so you could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner from Mom and her partner there, and you would take it home and heat it up. And she was also running, a catering business at the same time, and she was teaching cooking classes at Westark at the time. It was just like, it was crazy. So this is the pattern Mom always had when she moved to Dallas, then New Hampshire, then Connecticut, Santa Fe, Maumelle. She kept going with this like crazy unbridled optimism and energy. She ran a catering business called Dining Delivered, and JT Cooks in almost all the towns had one of these. I know she had to work for other people sometimes, like we all have, but she really preferred to do things herself. Do work for herself. So when I graduated from college, I had a lot of crazy ideas about what I wanted to do with my life. And some of them were a little risky. Some people would say it's stupid, crazy, nuts. And at one point, I quit my job to start a newspaper with a partner named Lowell, not my niece, Lowell, but an old white guy. And my role model for all this, wasn't some guru from a book or anything, but it was my mom. It was like, if my mom can start a business after business, write a book, teach the stuff that she had just learned and didn't have a business degree, she just would dive into anything. And I'm like, well, of course, then I can start a newspaper. Who can't start a newspaper? So we started this newspaper, and it failed. It tanked like it was completely embarrassing. It only lasted a couple of years. It was not well received. I could tell you more, but I won't. And it failed, and so then I learned a very important other lesson. I took another lesson from my mom, which is you get up, you dust yourself off, you keep your head high, and you go on with your life. So I got a corporate job, picked up the pieces. Lucy and I moved to a new town, not because of reputation or anything, but just cops weren't looking for me. And eventually I got up the courage, just like Mom, to start another business. And so, of course, we started this business here at the height of the Great Recession in 2007, which is always a great time to start a new business. And now 14 years, here we are. Haven't fallen down as bad, but that's good. And there isn't a week that goes by where I don't think about that cloud in the Climatron. And holding my mom's hand, and on that day, and every day she lived, my mom showed me that if a cloud could exist inside of a building, then almost anything can happen. Almost anything, even running a business. Now, I know we all know our mothers in incredible debt for the love, support, and encouragement they give us. It's unconditional. It's never ending. It's complete. It's what Lucy gives to our kids and what my sisters give to their kids. But I also want to thank my mom for being a fearless, tenacious, creative, and daring-ass businesswoman. So goodbye, Mom. We miss you already. So now, somehow I've got to sing.
Well, now we need to do like a deep cleansing Lamaze breath, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody opens your eyes.
And go hee-hee-hoo.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're good.
Okay, don't push. Don't push. So we're all going to sing together, and we're not in good shape, so you're going to have to help us all. And so we
Less
can
part of
stand.
the family, more everybody sing, please.
No part, yes. Did somebody bring the bongos?
The tambourine.
The tambourine. Okay. And somewhere. Yeah, the music's disappeared.
Okay. Wait. Oh, maybe it got,
Did it fall?
somebody handed it to me.
Oh. It's almost. Ready? Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them singing fresh from the world. Mom, stay her kid. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness, where is the cloud? And then the key changes. There it goes. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light beams of day. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. I learned this song on Thursday. So come here from here. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them stringing fresh from the world. Good job, everybody. Are you supposed to clap at funerals?
Yes, yes, you are.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Tip your wait staff. Okay. So, we have a prayer now from Meredith. Sorry.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, you paid for Meredith, but you also get Robin.
I know. Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you all so much for joining us. There's so many new faces of people we've been wanting to meet and family that we've missed so much. And we're so blessed and thankful that you're here. And I know Mom would be so happy to have us all gathered together. And as long as we eat good food later, all's good. But I wanted to read a poem, and it's a poem that actually Christopher came across. It's a local Kentucky poet, but it's fantastic. And we just felt like it really represented Mom's loving and just very, very busy spirit. So we'd like to share that with you all. It's called a manifesto, The Mad Farmer Liberation Front by Wendell Berry. Love the quick profit, the annual raise, vacation with pay. Want more of everything ready-made. Be afraid to know your neighbors and to die. And you will have a window in your head. Not even your future will be a mystery anymore. Your mind will be punched in a card and shut away in a little drawer. When they want you to buy something, they will call you. When they want you to die for profit, they will let you know. So friends, every day, do something that won't compute. Love the Lord. Love the world. Work for nothing. Take all that you have and be poor. Love someone who does not deserve it. Denounce the government and embrace the flag. Hope to live in that free republic for which it stands. Give your approval to all you cannot understand. Praise ignorance, for what man has not encountered, he has not destroyed. Ask the questions that have no answers. Invest in the millennium. Plant sequoias. Say that your main crop is the forest that you did not plant and you will not live to harvest. Say that the leaves are harvested when they have rotted into the mold. Call that profit. Prophecy such returns. Put your faith in the 2 inches of hummus that will build under the trees every 1,000 years. Listen to carrion. Put your ear close and hear the faint chattering of the songs that are to come. Expect the end of the world. Laugh. Laughter is immeasurable. Be joyful so that you have considered all the facts. So long as women do not go cheap for power, please put women more than men. Ask yourself, will this satisfy a woman to bear a child? Will this disturb the sleep of a woman near to giving birth? Go with your love to the fields. Lie easy in the shade. Rest your head in her lap. Swear allegiance to what is nighest your thoughts. As soon as the generals and the politicos can predict the motions of your mind, lose it. Leave it as a sign to mark the false trail, the way you didn't go. Be like the fox who makes more tracks than necessary, and some in the wrong direction. Practice resurrection. Thank you.
You're up there.
Sorry, y'all, I have one contact lens, so I'm just holding it up. I want to thank y'all for being here. She loved y'all so much, and coming up to Covington, she made so many friends, and y'all have just been so much to her, and sorry. Everywhere she went, she marked her spot. I mean, everybody just loved her. And I'm just blessed that y'all are here today. And so this is a poem that I know Mom will want all of y'all to know and to remember. Fill your hearts with pain and sorrow, but remember me in every tomorrow. Remember the joy, the laughter, the smiles. I've only gone to rest for a while. Although my leaving causes pain and grief, my going has eased my hurt and given relief. So dry your eyes and remember me, not as I am, but as I used to be. because I will remember you all and all look on with a smile. Understand in your hearts I've only gone to rest for a while. As long as I have the love of you, I can live my life in the hearts of you. Thank y'all.
Now am I in the right place? No, I got to check with your sisters. I know. I'm double speeding. Thank you all for coming. We wanted to keep this short and sweet. What's also important is what happens next. Is we'd love to spend some time with each other, all of us from some crazy disparate areas of her life, and it would be great to remember our mom. We're going to have some videos playing in the back room, and the kids have decorated our library with photos from Mom's life, and we
So many good ones. Oh.
so many mullets,
I was a teenager.
so much bad hair, but no Speedos. There are no Speedos this time.
Yes, there are. There are.
Oh, there are? But there are snacks in the kitchenette at the back. There are drinks. So please feel free to go anywhere here on the first floor, mill about, and let's all remember Mom. And she'd be really happy if we all left this room happy and smiling and full of really good food. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.